The Hedgehog Who Wanted to Hug. Once upon a time, in a sun-dappled corner of the forest, there lived a tiny hedgehog named Hazel. Hazel was unlike any other hedgehog in her family, for she had a heart brimming with warmth and an irresistible desire to give hugs. From the moment she woke up each morning, with dew still glistening on the grass, to the time she curled up under her favorite mossy log at night, Hazel dreamed of wrapping her little arms around her friends and sharing the happiness that bubbled inside her. But there was one small problem. Hedgehogs, as you may know, are covered in prickly spines, and Hazel's spines, despite her best efforts, were just as sharp as those of her brothers and sisters. Whenever she tried to get a little closer to her woodland friends, she noticed them shy away, worried they might get poked or prickled. One bright and breezy morning, Hazel set off on a new adventure. She scampered across the soft forest floor, her nose twitching with excitement. Today, she decided, she would finally find a way to give someone a hug. As the sunbeams filtered through the trees, Hazel's determination sparkled just as bright. Her first stop was at the burrow of Benny the bunny. Benny was busy munching on a breakfast of clover and dandelions. "Good morning, Benny," Hazel chirped, her whiskers quivering with anticipation. "Would you like a hug today?" Benny's big ears perked up. He loved Hazel's company, but he remembered the last time she'd leaned in for a cuddle. His soft fur had caught a few spines, and it had taken ages to untangle them. So, Benny wriggled his nose and said kindly, "Hazel, you're the sweetest hedgehog I know, but maybe we could try something else. How about a high five with our paws?" Hazel tried her best to smile, even as she felt a little droopy. She pressed her tiny paw to Benny's, and although it was fun, it wasn't quite the same as a hug. As Hazel continued on her way, she met Sally the squirrel, who was busy gathering acorns in the crook of a tree. Hazel called up, "Sally, would you like a hedgehog hug?" Sally paused, balancing an acorn on her head. She remembered how a friendly nuzzle with Hazel had left her with a prickly surprise last autumn. "Thank you, Hazel. But maybe we can wave our tails instead. Watch this." Sally swished her bushy tail back and forth, and Hazel giggled, doing her best to wiggle her own stubby tail. Next, Hazel trotted over to the pond, where Freddie the frog was sunning himself on a lily pad. "Freddie, do you want a hug today?" Freddie's eyes widened, and he let out a gentle croak. "Oh, Hazel, I'd love to, but I'm afraid your spines might pop my lily pad. How about a friendly hop instead?" Freddie hopped in a circle, and Hazel bounced along beside him, her little feet pattering on the soft mud. As the days passed, Hazel tried every way she could think of to share her hugs. She offered to hug the honeybees, who politely buzzed by, explaining that their own stingers were enough for one day. She tried hugging the wise old owl, who suggested they share a hoot instead. Even the family of raccoons who loved cuddles had to keep their distance after a near miss with a sharp quill. Hazel began to wonder if she would ever find a way to share the hugs that filled her heart. One evening, as the stars started to twinkle above the treetops, she sat quietly by the edge of the meadow, watching fireflies dance in the gentle breeze. Her little paws were tucked under her chin, and her eyes felt heavy with disappointment. Just then, a soft voice drifted through the grass. It was Millie the mouse, the smallest and bravest mouse in the forest. Millie had heard about Hazel's quest and scurried over to see her friend. "Hazel, why do you look so sad?" Millie asked, her whiskers twitching with concern. Hazel sighed. "I just want to give someone a hug, but my spines make it too hard. I wish I wasn't so prickly." Millie thought for a moment, her tiny brow furrowed. Then she had an idea. "Hazel, your hugs are special, even if they come with a few prickles. Maybe we just need to find a way to make them safe and cozy." Together, they looked around, searching for something soft. Millie spotted a patch of wildflowers and gathered their velvety petals. Hazel collected tufts of moss, as soft as clouds. Working side by side, Millie and Hazel weaved the petals and moss into a tiny, gentle blanket, just the right size to wrap around Hazel's spiky back. When the blanket was finished, Millie smiled and held out her arms. "Let's give it a try." Hazel wrapped herself in the mossy, petal-soft blanket. Carefully, she opened her arms, and Millie stepped forward, giving Hazel the very first hedgehog hug she'd ever received. It was perfect. A little squishy, a little warm, and full of happiness. Word of Hazel's cozy blanket spread quickly through the forest. Soon, all of Hazel's friends wanted to try a special hedgehog hug. Benny the bunny came hopping by. Sally the squirrel scampered down from her tree, and even Freddie the frog leaped over from his pond. Each friend took turns wrapping Hazel in her soft blanket and sharing a safe, snuggly hug. Hazel's dream had come true. She had found a way to share the hugs she had always wanted to give. And she learned something very important too. That sometimes, when you face a challenge, all you need is a little creativity and a little help from your friends. From that day on, Hazel became known as the most huggable hedgehog in the whole forest. Every morning, animals would line up to take turns in her gentle embrace, each one leaving with a smile and a happy heart. Hazel's blanket grew even more beautiful as her friends added their own touches. Acorns from Sally, feathers from the owl, and even a shiny pebble from Freddie the frog. The blanket became not just a way to hug, but a symbol of how friends can come together to solve problems and make everyone feel loved. And so, every night, as Hazel curled up under her favorite mossy log, she felt warm, safe, and full of joy, knowing that even the prickliest hedgehog can give the softest, sweetest hugs with a little help and a lot of love. As the seasons changed and the leaves turned golden, Hazel never forgot the lesson she had learned. She became the friend everyone turned to, not just for hugs, but for kindness and understanding. If someone was feeling left out, Hazel was the first to notice. If someone needed cheering up, Hazel was there with a gentle word or a silly dance. Even animals from other parts of the forest came to visit Hazel. There was Percy the porcupine, who worried that he was too prickly to make friends. Hazel shared her blanket with Percy, and together they invented the prickly hug, a special dance where they twirled and spun, careful not to poke each other. Hazel's story spread far and wide. Birds carried her tale on the wind, and soon, animals everywhere were finding new ways to share love and comfort, even if they were a little different from everyone else. And so, the little hedgehog who wanted to hug became the heart of the forest, reminding everyone that with a little imagination and a lot of friendship, even the prickliest problems can be solved. Now, whenever you see a hedgehog in your garden or on a woodland path, remember Hazel and her cozy blanket. Maybe, just maybe, that hedgehog is dreaming of hugs too, and waiting for a friend to help make it possible. Because in the end, everyone deserves a hug, even the ones with prickles. And so, as the moon rose high and the stars blinked sleepily overhead, Hazel snuggled into her mossy nest, her blanket wrapped around her, and drifted off to sleep, her heart full of the love she had given and received. The end.